As individual First Nations, we've all had challenges dealing with the federal government. We've tried to get our issues across in letters, meetings, court challenges, and direct action. We achieved some victories, but we all want to see more progress. It's time to move forward. First Nations want greater access and a greater say over fisheries in our territories. We have a new federal government committed to nation-to-nation relationships and the strength in numbers to make it happen. In 2000, our communities came together to form an alliance to deal with other governments. By working together through the Coastal First Nations Great Bear Initiative, we've made significant progress on land and water with British Columbia. Now we're turning our focus to building a fisheries reconciliation table with the federal government, to put First Nations at the table as equal partners with Canada. How would a fisheries table work? A fisheries table would be represented by all nations. Engage First Nations at a government-to-government level with senior federal officials. Send all major decisions back to communities for approval. And give First Nations joint final decision-making with Canada. This process would not make decisions for individual nations or replace their own negotiations with government, but it will raise the bar on what nations can hope to achieve when negotiating fisheries opportunities for the future. What will a fisheries table help us do over time? A fisheries table would bring First Nations and Canada together to collaboratively manage fisheries in our territories, merging traditional knowledge and science, giving priority access to food fish, using our watchmen for monitoring and enforcement. It would help bring wealth and jobs into our communities, increasing commercial fishing opportunities, creating greater flexibility in how we fish, increasing community control over aquaculture, increasing marine infrastructure, and supporting new training opportunities. A fisheries table would bring First Nations and Canada together to collaboratively find ways to reach these goals. All final decisions would be made jointly by First Nations communities and the federal government. So, what's the next step? To move forward, CFN will review this proposal with communities to seek their approval. Next, CFN will develop position papers on how nation-to-nation decision-making will work and economic opportunities in fishing for First Nations. These will go back to communities for approval and back to federal ministers for approval by Canada. If approved by First Nations and Canada, implementation plans will be developed, supporting more jobs, a healthy economy, and a greater say in fisheries management. By working together, we're proving that we can make positive change.